Welcome to Spirit Talk Radio. My name is Angel and I am your host. I would like to extend to you this invitation to join me today on a journey of exploration, discovery, and clarity with one of the many guests from the community who is committed to helping us all on our journey of spiritual transformation. Enjoy the show and be prepared to ask questions if you have them. Looking forward to seeing you today, tomorrow, and thereafter. Enjoy. Well, welcome everybody. I love being able to say welcome to Spirit Talk Radio. Angel here, bringing you somebody fabulous from the community. And today I have Kevin Stone, who is going to wow us with his amazingness. Hey, Kevin, how you doing today?
Hey, hi, everybody. How's everyone doing? Hope everyone's having a blessed day.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Can you tell us a little bit about you before I start grilling you for the people?
I feel like I'm on the barbecue. Well, my name is Kevin Stone. I'm known as the Hollywood hypnotist. I'm a board certified hypnotherapist as well, with a big clinic over here in Beverly Hills, California, known as the Hypnotist to the Stars. Treat all the major celebrities, major sports figures, and anyone else for all kinds of reasons, issues in their lives, just like anyone else. Smoking, weight, pain management, the list goes on and on. Whatever you want to apply to this natural, organic state called hypnosis is for you. But we're going to determine whether or not it is for you by the end of this program.
I love that.
It's not for everybody because everyone has a stereotype about what it is and what it isn't.
I want to talk about that because, you know, I think when I first came on, I was like wowed by your posters because I love the classic movie. I love, oh my God, TCM is my favorite. You know, my fantasy is to be a guest host. I have nothing to offer except my drooling over classic movies. I love them. But those classic movie hypnosis, that's kind of what everybody has in their mind, right?
Oh yeah, that's, you know, and these are classic movie posters. I'm also a historian. I get contacted for interviews and museums and whatnot to let them know about the history of hypnosis and what's the origins, where it began, all of that, et cetera. So I'm a collector of these pieces and many hypnosis items as well, going all the way back to 1800s. And so, unfortunately, and including myself, because I am a comedy stage hypnotist as well. So I do comedy stage hypnosis shows, but my shows are very, very different because they're educational platform underneath while they're having a good time, which hopefully we get to and talk about in a bit too. But yes, the movies continue to perpetuate the stereotype of the evil hypnotist where I get to control you and make you do things that you don't want to do. And so unfortunately that has been with me. I've been doing this for over 30 years. It's going to continue to be the stereotype, just like car salesmen and lawyers have a stereotype to what they do. But, you know, the cream always rises to the top. And once people accept it and understand it, and I will say that throughout the years, it's been more commercialized in a positive way, where the medical form of hypnosis and the applications, people are catching on to it because they don't want to be taking medicine and all of these things that are just clouding their mind. They want to do natural organic therapy. And so hypnosis is one of those modalities.
I'm glad you said that because when I think about hypnosis as a holistic healer and stuff, it's presented more today like the guided meditation versus the guy with the spinny thing and the clock going back and forth and all the bells and whistles from way back when. Now it's a more sit down with you and help you work through stuff, which I feel like that's what it should be about, right?
Absolutely, positively. As you notice, I didn't bring my pocket watch to you know, it's funny you use the word guided visualization and guided meditation, because back in the early days when it was difficult for people like me, I mean, I went to college for this. I went in, I thought, well, okay, I'm going to get some college credit to learn how to do this. And then lo and behold, I opened up a private practice and started doing it. And we'll get into all of that, hopefully, too. It's a fun story. But the applications are endless, and you can use it for whatever it is that you really want to use it for in your life.
Yeah, and as a person who's been through some stuff, you know, as a woman in the business world, we got all kinds of stuff going on. As a woman of color, we got all kinds of stuff going on. You know, you got to lose weight, you got to gain weight, there's a lot of stuff that gets in the way that hypnosis, sitting down with somebody and going through this process can really help you through.
Well, that's it. Again, it's a form of therapy on the lines of psychology or psychotherapy. And again, it takes the right individual to guide you down the road or where you want to go. Hypnosis is a modality amongst many modalities that are utilized in therapy to remove any blockage of any negativity to not allow you to achieve your maximum potential in life. And just like you said, women, men, everyone, especially recently because of our pandemic, has created such emotional stress and anxiety and mental well-being that the services that I provide have been so much more in demand for it because people aren't able to cope, and especially adapting to what we had to adapt. You know, it's kind of funny. The word telemedicine became a big thing during the pandemic. No one really knew it or understood what that was. Well, I was doing telemedicine long before even they call it telemedicine, and because of the impact of the clientele that I get. Now, I have patients all over the world, and so they're not able to get to Los Angeles, California to come and see me to get therapy. So I had to devise different ways through this technology, Zoom, Skype, all of these technologies, to be able to facilitate productive therapy to be able to help people help themselves.
You know, I love it, and so much pops into my head as you're talking, because I have a friend who's a meditation coach, and we have these conversations. She talks about the programming, that's the social programming, and she teases me because I'm a football fan and I'll watch the Super Bowl. And
Who's your team?
I live in San Francisco. I'm a Niner fan, you know.
Okay, well, you get the Cowboys coming up.
I know that's gonna be a good one. That's gonna be a good one. They better do something with their kicker though. Maybe you need to contact him and give him some.
Who's that? Who's that?
The Cowboys kicker. He missed.
Oh, no, that's not my team. They took out my team, which is Tampa Bay.
Oh,
they just played Monday.
Yeah,
and so they took Tampa Bay out. I grew up with Tom Brady. I was a Patriots fan, and followed Tom where he's at now. And so Cowboys came in. We really thought we were going to have that game. But yeah, you're right. That kicker, world history, missing four. If
there was a guy that needed somebody to sit down with him before he kept kicking.
Well, he needed to call him. He needed to contact what he needed to do.
Well, where I was going with that, that was so fun. Oh my God. People are now you guys got to see a side of me I don't get to. But
well, you know, here's the thing.
Yes.
You know, I get a lot of contact from sports figures, like I mentioned earlier, right? And so
I'm here.
Oh, there you go. Okay.
I'm here. My camera's being good.
Oh, I got you. So anyway, I do a lot of work with the Lakers and a lot of basketball players who want to do free throws, just like the kick, where there's a lot of pressure and there's a lot of stress and anxiety. And so, yeah, I'm sitting there myself thinking to myself, yeah, you need to contact somebody like me and allow yourself to just focus and concentrate and just block everything out where you're able to perform and deliver when the most crucial times come. And he did in the end. He got that one kick in. So good for him. And they recovered and they won the game. So that's the bottom line. That's all that matters. And so, but they took my team out and we would have been playing you, the 49ers. And so that's, you know, it is what it is.
I know. This is, when your team is rolling and you want your team to get there, you know, but
yeah,
you talk about performance and, you know, there's two ways I want to go. So I want to make sure I hit both of them. Because the reason I brought the name is my friend teases me because she says the NFL is brainwashing me because all the commercials, they play these commercials all the time. And I'm like, I want to go there. Like I look forward every year to the commercials during the Super Bowl. So I see because they're good, but then I'm like, oh, I want a taco from Taco Bell or whatever, because they're hypnotizing us on that. And then the thing you brought up about performance, so I'm gonna give them both to you so you can talk about them before I forget.
Okay.
Performance is not an athletic thing only, right? We have performance in our workplace. We have performance in our relationships. We have performance in everything. The athletes aren't the only one that need this performance-based kind of coaching. So there you have both of them, so you can go.
Yeah. Okay. So let's get to the commercialism.
Yeah.
Right. Absolutely, positively. And they've written books about this back in the 70s, where they took a lot of books off the market because they didn't really want people to be educated and enlightened by the information. Well, guess what? You're absolutely 100%, because I do consulting on that as well. There is suggestibility, which is hypnosis, in commercialism. All commercials have it, where they do exactly what you're saying, where you suddenly feel this urge that you want to go out and have some Taco Bell or whatever it is that you're watching. That's why you and everyone who's watching this program, wearing the different type of clothing you wear, jewelry, glasses, whatever it is that you have on your body, you're suggestible to that commercialism. You just don't realize it. So let's expand that even further. Not only commercialism, but now we're getting into politics. We get into heads of state. And again, I do a lot of consulting for that. So let's reverse a little bit. The Obama era. Okay. He was accused of and exposed of using NLP techniques and hypnosis. Absolutely, positively. And of course, he was using it in a positive way. Because look, at the end of the day, everything good can be used for bad. Right? It just depends on choice. That's what God gives us, a free will to make those choices to decide how you want to proceed in life. So everything good can also be for bad. Unfortunately, the stereotype with hypnosis has created that phenomenon, because we even go back even more with spiritual leaders, Jim Jones, David Koresh. Okay. All of these individuals understood the power of suggestibility and the power of words and how to put those sentence structures of words together, because that's what hypnosis is. It's not the spiral. It's not these things you see in the back here and all this theatrical things. Yes, you can do hypnosis with those things, absolutely, positively. And I have utilized those certain things, especially with children. They like to see a visual thing. So you get the pendulum and you swing the pendulum or the watch or the disc. And so all of these things are just a focal point where they are able to focus and concentrate. Bottom line, the suggestibility is all around us at all times. And I'm going to give everyone a hint to who the biggest hypnotists in our lives are. Do you know? Take a guess. Who do you think it is?
Our parents?
It starts there. It starts there, but the final becomes who?
Me? On myself?
Your spouse.
My spouse. Okay. I think I blocked it. No, not my spouse.
Your spouse becomes the biggest hypnotist in your life. Why? Because that's the one you end up with, you trust, you have rapport with, you have deep conversation with, hopefully, the philosophical conversation, and you get suggestions. Look, you ever been in the room and you've been with other couples, you've been at an event, a wedding, a party, and you see this couple who's well connected, and you just know, you can feel the vibe and the energy, right? And they're speaking nonverbal.
Yeah.
Or even if they do speak, she'll say one word and you'll see his behavior adjust quickly. That's hypnosis.
That's hypnosis. Wow.
And so that's how natural a state it really is. We don't even realize that these things are happening around us all day long. See, we go in and out of hypnosis about 1,000 times a day. That's how natural state it is. It's called environmental hypnosis. Now, people like me, politicians, people who make commercials, industry, all, if they understand the applications of the natural power of it, guess what? They're going to utilize it to benefit their business. So absolutely, positively. So now why not use it for yourself, to improve yourself, to achieve your maximum potential, remove any negative belief systems that are in your mind-body system, and allow yourself to be that superstar.
So good. And I'm having a couple of reactions. One is my husband's going to love this because he's going to say, see, I told you. I told you you were doing something But
Yeah.
we're trained, you know, as a leader. I've worked in corporate America, and they train you to be a certain way, to wear certain types of clothes so that you can be whatever kind of influential person that you need to be. So wear this color jacket with that color suit and shirt and skirt, whatever.
Absolutely.
Speak certain words if you want to get your team to respond a certain way. All that's hypnosis, is what you're saying.
Absolutely, positively. And here's a simple form for people who are still trying to wrap their head around that, because you're speaking my language. And it's awesome to me, and you're naturally doing that, because I think that you don't know much about what I do. So, but you really do understand it, and not knowing that you understand it. So to keep it simple, so everyone understands exactly what was just said, the military, anyone in uniform, police officers, firefighters, anyone in uniform is basically trained with suggestibility. It's pounded. Oh, you were in the military.
United States Marine Corps.
There you go.
So
go back.
Yeah.
Go back to boot camp and think about the repetitive nature of what was happening in that time frame of your life. That's straight hypnosis, direct suggestion to pound it into your subconscious mind, 88% of your brain's capacity. You may hear 90-10. They dilute it when you hear the TV talk shows and whatnot, but the real numbers are 88-12. Right? So 88% of your brain's capacity, it holds that information. So in the military, and as you know, United States Marine Corps, thank you for your service, by the way, they pounded that into your mind so that when and if anything would come, if you had to go to war, you wouldn't think, you'd automatically do. Yeah. And that's the way anyone in uniform is trained.
I love that you said that, because I have that heated debate with people all the time. But my thing is, you know, I was raised in the military. My father was in the military, my brother. So it was easy decision. Yeah, it was an easy decision for me. And
so you're into hypnosis since birth.
Yeah, I had no choice. My father was an MP. Okay. So the thing is, not everybody is born to serve, number one. And number two, if something happens, I don't want the people, you know, who are out there in the field to be doing the things that people, you know, the conversations when I was in the business, when I'm in business and I have to debate with people, like, could you go do this? Why do I have to do that? I'm in like this 3-hour conversation to try to get them to do. You don't want that with your military people and with your police officers and with your responders, your emergency responders. You want them to go and you want them to act. So like they have to pull that stuff down.
Right. Absolutely, positively. We're all human. And like you said, you see, everything is not for everyone. And I opened up this program saying that too. Look, this is a natural organic state. If you want to take advantage of it, have at it. But you've got to allow it to happen. Everyone can allow it to happen, but most people don't, because of the way they're conditioned. The way their belief system sits inside their mind-body system doesn't allow them to take advantage of something that's natural and organic. And so that's on them. But yeah, you're absolutely correct. It has to be done in a repetitive motion, and you have to be compliant. And most importantly, you have to have a gift and know that's your role in life and in society of what you're taking on, because it's not for everyone. I'm sure back in the days, go back again, use the example of our armed forces. You watched many people drop out of that boot camp and just could not survive. And you went into one of the toughest branches imaginable. So good. So that conditioned you to be who you are today. And you know you're still pulling from those tools, either consciously or subconsciously, to make yourself successful in who you are and to remove any negative energy or blocks that are not allowing you to receive what you're supposed to receive.
So good. And when you have the ability to be able to kind of stop, because you're right, when especially during the pandemic, when stuff is happening and you can go into a panic, there's a place that I connect to remember, to stop, to assess. I was taught to do these things and I go back to it all the time.
Right.
And
those are trigger points. So what we call trigger points. And for you, those are positive trigger points, but we also have negative trigger points. See, those are the ones I'm interested in the work that I do to facilitate therapy, to be able to allow someone to remove the negative blocks and belief systems, to be able to move forward to get the maximal potential of what do they want out of life.
And that's encompasses so much. Like one of my negative trigger points is my response is Rocky Road ice cream. So I'm not sure I want to lose it. I just want to just reduce the, but you know, there's so many things that we do that we respond to that would be helpful in like an everyday conversation, relationships. I talk to people all the time because they're like, oh, it's the same guy every time, or, oh, I'm afraid to be in a relationship. That's a beautiful area to really have somebody work with you on, wouldn't it be?
100%, absolutely. And you'd be surprised. You know, there's a lot of people who have those issues. Look, the first step to recovery in any recovery program is what? Admittance.
Admitting that
you have to admit. And then once you understand that, you know, when you look in that mirror and you really break yourself down and you stand there naked and just go, look, this is who I am. This is what I represent. These are my abilities. These are my gifts. And you really break everything down. Then you look at it and go, okay, where is my deficiency? Where am I not complete of where I want to be to make me well-rounded? That's when you seek out the professionals who are able to get you to where you need to go. Look, it's in our society all day long. Sports, everyone has that coach. Everyone, again, it goes on and on and on. So we all need, look, no one can do it alone. No one. We all need each other. And we all need to, once we understand who we are, we need to contact the individual of where the refinement is that we want to become. That's it. It's a simple formula.
We all need a team. Yeah.
Absolutely, positively.
We all need a team. So I'm going to acknowledge out loud that I'm addicted to Rocky Road ice cream. There you go, everybody.
We can help you with that.
Thank you. But,
and like you said, we can minimize it. We don't.
Yes. So please don't take it away. I'd be like,
no. We can definitely minimize it where you're in control of it. It's not control of you. We're not eating so much, and then you feel guilty after you ate the tub of ice cream and going, oh, I probably shouldn't have done that.
That's a tub. Yeah, that would be it. Yeah, but those are the things. You know, I always say this thing is like the closer you get to really grasping the ring, the more challenging it could be sometimes because your stuff comes up that's more difficult for you sometimes, can it?
Absolutely. That's exactly what happens to people, and they don't know what to do with it. Because look, we're not taught that in our school systems. We're not taught that in our natural lives. This is, information that we have to go and seek and understand. And I'm sure programs like yourself are doing that. That's exactly your drive and your motivation it's the same for me, is to give people the tools to help them to help themselves. It's not me doing it. I'm your guide. I'm your coach. I'm your facilitator. I'm guiding you down the path of where you want to go. And I know how to do that successfully. And not because I think I'm successful, because that's what I've been doing for 30 years. And the success comes from what you do.
So, Kevin, can you make people do things they don't want to do with hypnosis?
Now that's a foggy area. So there's a yes and there's a no.
Well, let's go.
The mind is an amazing thing, and it's a beautiful thing, and it really depends on the mind, the time of day, what it's doing, what it's not doing. So here's the answer. Here's a simple answer. The answer is no. So I get the question all the time of, okay, can you go to the bank and hypnotize the tellers and basically don't think that you're in the bank and you walk out with bags of money in the car? The answer is no. Can't do that, because if I could, I would be using it for evil, right? Yes. Or I wouldn't be using it for evil. Let's take that back. Others would be using this technique, this tool, for evil and doing things that are unethical, moral, and all of that, right? And which they've tried. Again, we've talked about Koresh, we talked about Jim Jones, and they've done these things. So that's why I'm trying to say. So the answer is yes and no. The no is, I can't make you go out and murder someone unless it's within your fiber and within your will. Then all I'm doing is giving you the permission and programming you to do so. And again, let's go back to your time in boot camp. You would watch people, they would make you guys do things that were just beyond, unbelief, and beyond what the human body could do. and some could do, some couldn't, right? So it's the ones who are able to, where they derive that energy, that power, is still a mystery. And it's still a mystery to me after all these years that I've studied the brain, human mind, human condition, and human behavior. So that's why the answer is kind of yes or no. Most people want a direct answer. Well, is it yes or no? Well, it isn't.
It isn't.
It's individualistic. It depends on the individual. So if I get the right individual and I program them to go rob the bank, guess what? They're going to go rob the bank. Okay.
Yeah,
So,
and
yeah.
That's a good answer, at least for me. I don't know if that's a good answer for everybody else.
Well, you can email me. Well, we can talk about it.
Well, so because it's like it has to be within you. We've all seen, the arch villain in a superhero movie walk in and like, you're going to go over there and you're going to do this terrible thing to all those people, and the people go, yes, and they're activated like some sort of, what do they call the secret spy guy, and he goes off and does this stuff, which is why people are afraid of hypnosis.
Well, that's why you see in the comedy stage hypnosis shows the same kind of a theme, right? And I do those, like I mentioned earlier in the program. We see somebody to get up, and even people who know people, they get up and they're in the stage program. And first of all, the people they come with are in awe because that person would never take the stage. And most people won't, by the way, either, because do you know the number one fear in the entire world?
Is that the fear of public speak?
Awesome. Absolutely, positively.
Okay.
Number one.
You see how I stammered, like as I'm speaking publicly.
That's the number one fear. And so you can imagine people who are now getting up in front of others on a stage setting is very overwhelming. And believe me, even the most major celebrities that you can think about still have that stage fright that we work on. And so it's part of the makeup of the individual. But anyway, I want to get into all of that. So they get up there and they know these people, and then they're dancing around like a ballerina, and they're doing things that they know their personality wouldn't normally do. So the illusion looks to be that the hypnotist would be having this amazing power to facilitate this individual to do things that they wouldn't naturally normally do. And the people who confirm that know them. So this would be, and I hear this all the time, that there would be no way they would be dancing around like a ballerina. They don't even dance, right? So how did you do that? Well, all I did was allow that individual to become comfortable and tap into their personality and to draw that out. Wow. That's it. That's it. There's the simplicity of it.
So I want to go back because I we'll get to talking. I'm having such a good time with you. I won't get to ask this, so make sure I ask it. Why you talked about you went to college to do something, but and now this is who you are. Yeah. Talk to us a little bit more about that, because that seems so wild to me that you went to college. I'm going to college to be this collegiate, and now you're the hypnotist to the stars. I love it.
Well, it's an interesting journey and a great story. So I'm going to be as brief as I can with it. Basically, this is how it worked. This was not what I thought was my path in life. I have a BA in communications, and I wanted to be a news anchor. That's what I wanted to do. That was what I was pursuing. Wow. And so I came out to California. I was working for, and now back in those days, things were different. And I know a lot of people nowadays look through a lens of 2023, but we're going back 30 plus years. You have to look at that lens. So it was a different path to get where you wanted to go. So you had to pay your dues. And so I was fortunate enough upon graduating to get my first radio job. Radio was the entry in the gateway to get to television, because the market is so competitive, still is to this day. And so I was lucky to come here in Los Angeles, one of the biggest markets. And I thought, wow, unbelievable. So that's how my journey started. Came here, was working for the number 2 station in the entire city, and things were rolling and on their way, right? Well, in the industry, and I think it's still true to this day, where they call it the revolving door, and back then it was called a revolving door radio, where if your ratings were down, you're out. When the books would come out, you're done. If the ratings weren't there, that's it, it's over. So you're looking for jobs. So anytime that I was doing anything what I always do, and still to this day, I go back to academia. I always love to learn. I always want to nurture myself, educate myself. I just take on the world. I want to do it all, learn it all. And I just have that fascination of life. So I've always had this interest in hypnosis as a boy, because again, just like everyone else, even to this day, I would see in the back of comic books, like, Mandrake would be hypnotizing people and all this. It's like, wow, that's pretty interesting. Well, long story short, I found this college over in Tarzana, California, and it was offering college credit. And I thought, wow, this is interesting. Now, listen, I was on the other side of the fence, so I understand the skeptics and the cynics, and plus my religious background at the time, it was prohibitive. It was like, you cannot be anywhere near this voodoo, this dark art, right? But I thought, well, you know what? I'm going to get college credit for it. I'm going to go in, I'm going to learn something, and I don't have to do it. I don't want to do it. I just want to learn how to do it. And I'm going to get credit for it to apply towards my future degrees. Why not? I have nothing to lose. I'm in between right now. So I thought, okay, good. So I went in, and I didn't have a frame of mind of seriousness. I was the class clown, me and another guy. And we had basically gone on a field trip to Cedars-Sinai, which I'm now on staff. Ironically, it's a whole interesting full circle story. However, we go in. We were told on this field trip that we were going to watch this entire C-section being performed under hypnosis. It wasn't really called hypnosis back then, but we knew it was hypnosis. And this famous opera singer was from Italy, and she was to have this baby through C-section, and it was under hypnosis. And we were already told the doctor was prepped her for 6 sessions, and she was to feel no pain. If she felt any discomfort, she was to raise her hand or let out an opera note, and then they would stop, give her an epidural, medicate her so she wouldn't feel any pain. So we're like, yeah, whatever, okay. So she knew we were there. It was about 70 of us in the class. It was a two-way mirror, kind of like in the police stations and all of that. And we're sitting there, we're all waiting. Me and the other guy in the back, we're clowning around. We're like, yeah, whatever. This isn't going to work. This isn't real. This is just nonsense. I'm just there for the class credit and to learn something that I thought, oh, it's kind of cool. It's in the back of comic books. That's interesting. Anyway, long story short, the doctor comes out. He puts her into hypnosis. And now we're waiting. We're waiting. All of a sudden, okay, C-section time. Okay, here we go. Oh, she's gonna feel pain. We're in the back. We're all goofing laughing. So nothing. The whole process happens, and it's under hypnosis. Nothing.
Having a baby, which is like the worst pain on the planet. Having and nothing. Oh my gosh. Right. Oh my gosh.
So I'm in the back with my other class clown buddy, and our jaws. Whoa. So I was a nail biter at the time. So we used to practice how to do this on Saturdays after our Saturday class. And so the first thing that I didn't think I could get hypnotized in all of this, because we had tried and I thought, nah, it's not working, whatever. So I finally started taking it seriously and really readjusted my thinking. And so the first thing I stopped was nail biting. Stopped biting my nails instantly.
Wow.
Instantly. And so, of course, I made other changes along the way. And then I graduated from that program, opened up a small private practice in the Valley here in Los Angeles. And how everything started to really open up was my techniques started to get, the word of mouth was just on fire. And I got caught into the entertainment industry, where I started seeing a lot of celebrities, sports figures, because again, this is a small community. People think it's big, but it's not. And so they started to hear about me. And so I had lists of these celebrities coming in. Well, what really broke it open was I had a celebrity come in, and you can go watch the interview. I believe it's still up on YouTube, where he was on Leno. And he was basically talking about, he went to see me for Stop Smoking. And that was it. Access Hollywood contacted me. They're the ones who actually dubbed me the Hollywood hypnotist. And that was it. Here I am 30-something years later, continuing to do my work as this celebrity guy, treating celebrities, but I treat everyone and whoever wants to be treated. Because again, my whole goal, my whole mission statement from the beginning, and still is to this day, doesn't matter the clientele, because we're all people. We all have issues, and we all need tools and techniques to help us survive human life. And so that's it. The rest is history. This is what we do.
That's a really good story, you know. And I can see you. I could see you in the back with your friend going, hee haw, whatever, whatever. And then whoop, baby's out. Whoa, wait a minute. Time out. What just happened?
It was a sight to see. And now, because I've had the luxury and opportunity to become who I am, I get to travel all over the world, all over the country, everywhere, and treat and help people and see amazing things happen in people's lives. And not just all over the world, but even in my comedy stage hypnosis shows, because like I said, they are different. They are the comedy, entertainment. We do them at the comedy clubs, etc. But again, my programs are educational. There's an educational platform underneath the entire program. So if you're really paying attention while laughing and having a good time, you get to learn something about yourself and a tool that's a natural organic resource that you can utilize in your life to change your life.
I love those shows. You know, I've gone to many of them from when I was a youth, when they would come to the high schools to being on cruises. There's usually somewhere in the community, there's a guy or a gal or a pair of people, and they bring people up and they do that. I love those shows. And I'm always amazed that, you know, you get somebody and they're like, this is BS, and then they're up there clucking like a chicken or whatever the deal is. So you're saying that stuff is real. I've always been skeptical that, even though one of the people on one of them was my sister, and she said, they didn't tell me anything. I'm like, they told you guys stuff. I'm always a little skeptical.
I look, I understand that completely, totally. That's exactly where I was. And again, I'm from New England. I'm from a conservative background.
That's real conservative up there.
Conservative and Catholic. No, I'm now a Christian. Went on to become a Christian pastor. It's a whole another story for another program.
Oh my God! How many stories do you have?
Look, I told you I enjoyed life, and I experienced life to its ultimate maximum potential as much as I possibly can. And so that's just how I live my life, because I believe that's what life is about, and that's what God gives us life for, to live it and to live for Him. And so, I have a lot of interests. But this is who I've become, and this is what people know me as. So when I tell them other things, like their mind spins all over, and they go, "Wait," because they can't. Again, it's like taking George Clooney, and George Clooney tells you, "Well, my passion is roller skating," and you're like, "What? It doesn't even fit you, George." And so, but we're human, and we have other interests in life, and we may become known as a certain thing because that's God's gift of what He has given us to facilitate that gift, and of course our passion. And I'm very passionate about what I do, because what I do is exactly what you do, is to help people to help themselves. And there's such a rewarding career and an experience to do that.
Teaching them how to fish.
Absolutely.
Teaching them how to fish.
Absolutely.
That's a thing I keep in my mind as I work with people. It's like, I could just bring you fish every day, but someday what's going to happen when I'm not there to bring you fish?
Yeah,
so
that's right.
You got to learn how to fish. I want to talk about fear, because I think that fear is like the thing that stops people from doing everything.
Absolutely.
And, there's the real fear, like, don't jump off the cliff. It's like 300 feet down there, and there's rocks and stuff. So don't do that. But fear going on stage, fear going
fear of flying,
fear of flying, all the stuff. And I always hear about hypnosis helping you through that. And
absolutely,
in the movies and stuff, it's like you go to the hypnotist, he talks to you, snaps his finger, and now you're Superman. Is it that easy?
Yes and no is the true answer. I know what people want to hear. Yes, and yes, that is possible. So let me give you another story, really quick example of this isn't fear-based, but it can be. So I get a smoker in one of the shows, by the way. Okay. So again, at the end of the program of my programs, the comedy stage hypnosis shows, I always give what I've perfected and trademarked over the years called a mini hypnotherapy session. So people who've seen me on television or seen my shows know that they're going to get that. Now, that all by itself, if you were to come and see me, that's a $750 value. So you're in a comedy show, you're having a great time, and you're going to get some therapy at the end where it's incorporated into the program, where it's not serious, and you're still going to walk away with the power. So here's a quick story. So before the pandemic, I'm doing a very big company. You might be familiar with them. They have big smiles under packages. You probably get one every day. I know I do. Okay?
I do.
So I'm doing that event, and up on the stage is one of the executives. Now, I didn't know this at the time. Didn't matter to me because I'm there to entertain. Yes. So at the end of the program, he says to me, "Can I take the microphone? I need to talk to these, 3,000 people in the audience." And I go, "Nobody takes the mic. It'd be like me taking over your microphone."
Yeah, right, don't do that. What is that?
That doesn't even work. So I look over to the host of the party who brought me in. She goes, "Give him the microphone." Now again, I understood who this man was after the fact, but as I continue my story, if people try to understand, they'll get who it is without me saying so, right? So anyway, he gets on the microphone and he says, "Listen, I didn't want to come into this show today because I didn't want to embarrass myself, cluck like the chicken." I don't know what the chicken thing is about, or the barking like dogs. I've never seen that in any of, even like I told you, I've been a historian since I got into this because it's my passion, and there's no traces of any of that. So I don't know where that comes from, why people have that in their mind, but they do, right? And I've never seen the chicken thing. But
what I'm hearing is that you don't do that to people.
Well, actually, I do. Because I use that as a gag for the comedy shows, or even when I'm lecturing, I'll say, people always think that I'm going to turn them into a chicken or whatever. So when people see my programs, they always want to volunteer. Why? Because I've already told you about the benefit, and they've seen me, so they want to be involved. So it's a little bit easier for me. But what I tell them is if you want to volunteer, I'm going to pick you from where you're at. So you have to get my attention. So I'm looking for the most fun people, outrageous people who are really going to get my attention. So if I scan the room and then I see people who are having fun or whatever, so I'll look at somebody, I go, "Okay, you want to be a volunteer?" Because they know there's only 10 chairs and I can only pick 10 people. They really want to be there. So I go, "Okay, let's get the chicken thing out of the way." Now, this is not even hypnosis. It is hypnosis,
but it is chicken thing out of the way.
So right. So I tell the volunteer, whoever it is, male or female, I go, "Let's show everybody what the chicken thing is so we can get that out of the way. And so let's do the chicken now." So they run up and down the aisle, clucking like the chicken. And did I hypnotize them? Like I said, yes and no, because I gave them the suggestion. And so now they're clucking like a chicken without me even doing the formal hypnotic trance.
Wow. It's like the wave.
Exactly. You see how powerful suggestibility is. So they're doing the chicken thing. We haven't done the hypnosis, but that allowed them the ticket to get up on to take the stage.
Because that's what they wanted. Because that was their motivation. So they're motivated to go do that. So that's what he wants me to do. I guess I got to cluck like a chicken.
Right. So I get it out of the way, make a gag out of it, because everyone thinks I'm going to turn them into chickens once they go into hypnosis anyway. But now you're in an environmental state of consciousness, or are you? And now you're clucking like a chicken. So is it hypnosis? Is it not hypnosis? I don't know. Let's think. So anyway.
Right. That was really good.
so we get that out of the way quickly. That way it's not in the program. So anyway, get back to the story. So he comes up and he goes, "Listen, I want to come up here. I didn't want to do this, but my wife had just seen this guy on one of the television programs just recently, and it was a medical show, and he was talking about hypnosis. And so she kind of forced me up here." Now, some wives will understand and relate to that, where they have to force their spouse to, do things that they don't want to do. That's going to be good for them. So
see how we are, ladies.
So he comes up on the stage and he ends up being one of the, if you get me laughing during these programs, because believe me, I've done hundreds and thousands of them. And he was one of the funniest guys I've ever seen. So at the end of the show, he's on the mic and he's talking to everybody. He goes, "Look, and I didn't want to come up here. My wife forced me up here. I'm going to tell everybody something. If you ever get an opportunity to experience hypnosis with this guy, do it. I had the best experience I ever had in my life. I feel absolutely amazing." Wow. And then he reaches into his breast pocket and he goes, "Listen, you all know that I'm a 40-year smoker. 2.5 packs a day, and this happened to be Camel non-filters. Worst cigarette you can smoke."
Oh my goodness.
He takes them out. One cigarette was removed from the pack, was a fresh pack. He crumples them up, throws them to the ground, and declares, "I am now a non-smoker."
I love that.
So there's your answer to yes and no. So that wasn't even a formal, but again, my mini therapy session that happens for about 3-4 minutes max at the end of the program, which again, doesn't look like a therapy session. It looks like it's part of the show. This particular gentleman and him and many others throughout the years have dramatically changed their lives with that one quick session.
Wow. And based on what you're saying, it's like there's some part of him that really didn't want to smoke. He just couldn't
Right.
get it.
Right. The mind couldn't program itself because that little self-talk that we tell ourselves, he's giving it the wrong language. He was telling it the wrong things. So I was giving it correct language because I had already got him into a formal hypnotic state. So I'm giving him the language. So I was just now moving from the comedy and fun into the seriousness of, and now program yourself to do what you want to do to change your life. Do it now. And so that's how fast it can work.
That is so good. And I'm kind of thinking in my head now of all the fun buzzwords now that we're using, like mindfulness and affirmations and mantras. Absolutely. Where we're doing this. And I just saw a commercial. It's so funny last night where they have this new medical device for people to manage their high blood pressure, where they put it on and it plays music and this guy's talking to them. And all they got to do is 15 minutes a day and they'll bring their blood pressure down. I'm like, wow, somebody actually.
Guess what they're doing? Guess what they're doing?
They're doing hypnosis, right?
Or guided visualization or meditation. I'm not sure what it is because
I had the first time I've seen it, and it's interesting that I saw it the night before that I had you on the show. I was thinking about that this morning because I'm like, that commercial must have come on before, and I've never noticed it.
I've never seen it, but that's exactly what they're doing. They're not calling it that. And just like I was getting into in the program, I was talking about when I first got into this. I was working for medical facilities. I was working at White's Memorial as a TMJ specialist, pain management, where they have TMJ in the jaw, and I was facilitating that. This was fresh out of college, and I was still young and just trying to figure it out. And we couldn't call it hypnosis back in that day because it would offend the medical profession, and everyone would just get up in arms about, oh no, we can't have that dark stuff in our facility. You can't say you're a hypnotist. So you would say we're doing guided visualization, guided meditation. We're doing, and this is exactly what that new product is doing. They're not calling it hypnosis. They're calling it something else and masking it. But is it powerful? Does it work? Absolutely, positively, because that's natural programming. And again, we do that all day long as human beings to each other. Like I told you, your biggest hypnotist is your spouse. So you're the hypnotist and your spouse is the hypnotist. And not only that, I also tell any host of any program that I'm doing, you're more of a hypnotist than you know.
Hypnotist, that's right.
You are. Because people are tuning into your program, you stay on air and you still stay doing what you're doing because you're actually hypnotizing people in a way where they keep coming back for more. And you don't even know you're doing it.
I can get that. You say that and that clicked for me because, they want to hear, we get that on the television, we get that on the radio, Game of Thrones. Oh my God, what's the next episode? We get that. Oh, The Mandalorian. We want to see, and they get us caught up in it. And it's so true. And for me, I'm trying to bring people information. That's why I'm trying to get people. But there's a lot of people out there not doing good things.
No.
And they're accessing us through this skill.
It's part of the nature of the beast. It is what it is, and it's always going to be there. Nothing you can do is going to block that. And I think it's a good balance, though, too. Look, God created good and evil for a reason, so we can understand the balance between the two. It's your choice and free will to decide how you want to facilitate that in life. It's your life.
That's the price of being given free will.
That's right.
That's the price.
Right. And that's right.
You get to hear both sides of the argument. You get to decide which side of the street to go on.
Absolutely.
That's the
absolutely.
I love that. Oh my goodness. I'm looking at the time, so I have to plan my questions carefully. I want you to take a moment right now, if you can, to talk to them about how they can reach you and stuff, to do your commercial about how people can get in touch with you.
We have how many? Are we wrapping things up? We have.
We got like 10 minutes. We got like 10 minutes. So I always try to check 10 minutes, and then
okay, great. because I'm also going to do a giveaway.
Oh, a giveaway! Oh, shoot!
For your show. That's why I asked you for wrapping up.
Let me get my pin out.
Oh, right on. You don't have to. You're going to record and watch the show. So, how to get a hold of me is simple. Hypnotist.com. HYP as in Paul, NOTIST.
How did you get hypnotist.com? You jumped early, man.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I've been doing this a long time. And I had the insight, foresight, whatever you want to call it, early on to understand what was going to happen with technology and how that was going to manifest itself. And so I was able to acquire that amongst many other popular sites, if you think about hypnosis. But we try to consolidate everything into the hypnotist.com. Really simple. That's all you have to remember. If you remember hypnotist, just put .com behind it and you end up at my site, which is a very informative site, by the way. It's not really about me. It's about the applications, educating yourself. There's a lot of free stuff on there to understand. There's pretty much, I think there's a page where common questions are asked because there's always the same question. So we just decided we're going to put them up there and let people read for themselves how and why. So it's a pretty informative page. It's just not about my services and all of that. So you can just go there, contact me from there. I'm on all social media. We'll be taking this show and putting it on our website as well and promoting that. And it's a win-win for everybody. And so that's how you get a hold of me. It's real simple, hypnotist.com. Call us. And again, people get a little, gun shy or celebrity shy, or they just think that my clientele is celebrities and sports figures. Well, it isn't. And I never wanted to move away from helping people help themselves, because look, we're all human. We're all the same. It doesn't matter who you are. And so I always have time and availability, not just for the demand of what I'm doing with, again, celebrities, heads of states, politicians. I open it up to anyone who wants to help themselves, to give them the tools to educate, uplift, and inspire people to utilize this tool in their lives so they can get what they want from life, just like me and everyone I teach.
And that is so good, because now is the time, in this moment in our existence, people are really wanting to get their wish. Everybody is reaching out and trying to get that bucket list today.
And they should. They should. And again, I was just reading a survey in the Los Angeles Times on life expectancy, and they took it down. It was higher. It's now, I think it's 72 or 73 of what life expectancy is.
And we did wait some years on that.
We did, because it was sitting around 70, 78, somewhere around there of general, right? And so, that really should make one think. Me being 60 now, I'm hitting 60. And so if that's true, then I've got 14 years left.
That's a wild, that's wild to have that in your head, right?
It's a motivating factor, I'll tell you that, because again, life is to be lived, and not to be living in the past, not to allow any negative behavior to hold you back from where you want to be. And so you have to remember this: all behavior is learned behavior.
Oh, yes.
So we have to understand the tools that work for us to facilitate changing that behavior. So if it's hypnosis, try it, go for it. If it doesn't work for you, go with another modality, guided visualization, all of the things we've been talking about on this program. Contact these people who are successful in facilitating these modalities to improve your life.
Well said. I want to say this to you, because I love what you said. I just came out of, I had Guillain-Barré, I'm GBS. I never say it right. I think I'm resisting saying it right, but I had a flu vaccine.
Oh.
And I got this GBS. And what happened was it paralyzes you. And then are released from it, and then you got to get your life back. And people die from this. It's just happened. Like, it was released from the hospital in November. And so I had a bucket list like everybody else. I've turned my bucket list upside down and I want to achieve my stuff now. And I noticed that there are things that, like, I don't know if I can do that. I might be too old for that. There are all these little thoughts and disbeliefs that come into the mind. And what you're saying is get rid of those. Go find somebody. If you can't do it yourself, go do what you want to do.
Right.
And
seek out, because again, we all need something. We all need
Yeah.
people. We need help in our lives. We cannot do it alone. Seek out a higher power. Seek God, because that is the ultimate higher power, by the way.
Yeah.
And so, what you're talking about, I want to expound on a little bit. I know we're running out of time.
Take your time.
Kevin Hart's podcast, if you listen to his recent one, he talks exactly what you just said. And he had this revelation from that car accident he had a year or two ago, and how he didn't appreciate the simple things like, moving your fingers and why your fingers move. And if they move freely, if you don't have any issues with your hand, like arthritis or something to that effect, of how you should appreciate that. And his whole life perspective has changed because of that traumatic experience. And so this is why I brought up the fact that now the nationwide survey is 72 years of age of our life expectancy, and that's male and female. And so what are you doing with your life? Are you maximizing your life? Get what you want out of life. If not, seek the professionals, seek the one that you feel is going to help you, to guide you down that path of where you want to be, to remove all negative belief systems, to achieve your maximum potential in life.
I'm a fan. If you're running for president, I will be your campaign manager. Everything you said is so beautiful, and I think that's what we need. So I am ready. What is it that we can get from you in terms of an offer? Because I am ready to get people. Okay. I want people to connect with you. I really do.
I'm going to give it for this program when it airs, and you'll know when it does.
Yes.
1 week from the point of when it airs till 1 week, I'm going to give away a $175 programming system called self-hypnosis. If you email me in the subject line of this program, in the subject line, and then you give us a little description of what you liked, what you didn't like, it doesn't make a difference to us. As long as you give us that you did see the program, you listened to the program, however you connected with the program, give us a little bit of feedback on that. I'm going to send you the MP3 programming system, self-hypnosis, so you can utilize this tool, learn how to take yourself into a self-hypnotic state, program yourself, take yourself out of the state, and continue on your path of success. That's what I'm going to give your listeners, your watchers, for participating in this program today.
So 100 of them. So
no,
all of any as it takes.
It's for 1 week. So if
it's
3,000 people, 3,000 people.
Okay.
The program is worth $175.
Got it. Now I'm with you. So I wanted to make sure I made that clear. So I know what I'm going to do as soon as I post it.
Send it away.
That's right. So one of the cool things about hosting this is I get to meet some really cool people that have some really great things to offer society, but I get to try all their giveaways. And I always talk about how great they are. And I'm going to tell you folks, we have a lot of stuff going on in our heads that we're swimming in. I kind of see it as like a big Olympic-sized pool, and we're drowning in all these voices and all this shadow talk that everything has built in us. And if you could get somebody just a little bit of a hand so that you can do the things that you love to do,
that's right.
You need to do it.
That's right. Absolutely.
My mom used to say,
preach it.
My mom used to say, if somebody's going to give you something for free, why aren't you doing it?
That's right. That's right. But again, you have to specify in the email in the top line there, because I do a lot of interviews. I do a lot of program. Like I have another 7 lined up after this one, so I'm not sure when it's going to air. So you have to be very clear, because I don't do it for all the programs. I'm doing it today.
I appreciate it. So I will confirm with you when it's gonna broadcast. And what I'll do is when I put it up there, I'll put the time frame on it. If you respond, because it'll be up there till the end of time. So
right, because if they contact me 3 months from now and they go, well, we want to take advantage of that offer.
Too bad for you. You missed it.
You can buy it on the website.
Oh, good for you. There you go. Click.
Well, yeah, there's a whole section where you can buy merch. So I have all my programming systems on there too.
I could talk to you all day. You're busy. I'm busy. I get it. We'll have to connect again in the future.
Absolutely.
But something that you would like to leave the audience with before we say goodbye?
Change your thinking, change your life. Get the tools to acquire that. It's simple. The formula is simple. Utilize it.
I love it.
That's it. That's all I have to say. And God bless everybody.
God bless everybody. Because if you can find that joy in your heart, you can do anything in the world that you want. I love it.
Amen. Amen.
Love it. Thank you so much. You made
Thanks
my
for having
day.
me. I'm so humbled. Thank you so much.
I loved it. Thank you. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. We'll see you around the spirit community. Take care and bye-bye.
Bye.